This episode of the podcast is brought to you by the UK's #1 coral selling website, prestigereef.co.uk and reefdork.etsy.com for all your 3D printed aquarium accessory needs. Take two. What's up, YouTube? Ryan, do you want to tell everybody why you're laughing?
Well, Reef Dork and I were just having a chat, thinking that it was live, and then he went, "Oh, it's not live."
The stupid thing is, so I pressed the theme tune thing, and I pressed live, but I obviously didn't click it, and it was about 2 minutes in. I suddenly realised that we're not live. So, hi, how you doing? The good news is you missed me moaning about how awful England are and how
it was like blasphemy. Some of the things you were saying, not good.
But with a bit of luck, Gareth Southgate will fall ill. Nothing serious, but serious enough to keep him out of the way for the next couple of weeks, and someone can step in and take over.
I'm going to pretend I know who that is.
Oh, you don't know who Gareth Southgate is. All right, we'll talk about fish instead. And this is what we were just saying. Hello, everybody. Thanks for waiting, by the way. Sorry for the delay. The good news is, so the next game is on Saturday, and that means that Sunday is free, so we get to talk about fish and corals. But the bad news is, me and Ryan normally have a half-hour chat beforehand, and we haven't done. And we might just chat generally, but we do some prep, don't we?
Well, so previously, today, when we've not had the chat beforehand, it's like chaos.
Yeah, basically.
And the way this live stream started is probably setting the standard of how it means to go on.
Exactly right. Well, how are you? First off, just never mind Week in Reefing. How are you? I've not spoken to you yet. How are you? Are you good?
Not bad. Yeah, not bad.
Good.
Are you okay?
I'm all right. Yeah. Apart from
we can have our chat afterwards if you want.
Yeah, fine, okay. I just hate football. Why do we watch football? Why does anyone watch football?
Well, I don't because I don't. I actually watch some of it and I just don't understand it. I just don't get it. Like, I also watch some of the Formula One, which I actually understand a little bit more now because people crash and then it becomes entertaining.
Yeah, that's good.
Or they might crash. So it's like you know, there's a little bit level of excitement. And then when I'm watching the football, I was like, these people are just falling over. And they're not going 200 miles an hour, and they're like crying about it.
Watching England is kind of like a car crash, to be fair. So, well, anyway, let's not talk about Formula One. We've had we're 12 minutes late already.
That's all right.
So let's talk about fish and stuff.
Okay, where would you like to start? I'll let you do your week in reefing first, if you like, because it's always me every time. So I'm gonna throw you under the bus and get you to do it.
All right, this is going to be a quick one. So I went away this weekend again, so I didn't get to my tank is now ready. It's cycled, and it's ready for me to move all of my corals from my water box tank and the fish into the main tank. But I was planning on doing it this weekend, but yesterday morning I went off to see a mate that took up the entire day, and then after that I got straight back and went down to see my parents again. They live miles away, so I only just got back a couple of hours ago. Put the football on, and that's it. So I've not really done what I wanted to do. And the only thing I have, so because the tank is ready, but because at the moment the tank was all set up, except I didn't have anything to dose, so I had to get my dosing pump set up. And my previous plan was to run Calcwassel on that tank to start with, at least, and then just work out what I want to do after that. But because my calc stirrer is being temperamental at the moment, and it's not temperamental, I just need to clean it every week. I think I need to work out why. There must be some kind of clog or something, but I don't want to have to clean it every week. So I set up, instead of setting up Calcwassel on that tank, I've set up the Red Sea Reef Care program stuff. So that's the 4-part dosing, calcium and magnesium in one bottle, I think, alkalinity in another, and then 2 bottles for trace elements. So I've set that up. I haven't started dosing it, but I need to because if I'm going to move all these corals across, I need to be able to start dosing straight away.
Yeah,
so
of course.
That is now set up and all done. And in keeping with the whole of this tank, I've tried to do everything properly and really well, not just like ram it in with cables everywhere. And like in the last, my last tank, dosing lines for my tank were just all over the place, just going through the middle of the cabinet, and then every time you put your hand in, they're in the way, and then you'll accidentally tug one and pull it off the bottle. Oh god! So I've done it properly this time. I did it neatly, and I made a video on the Reef Dork Extra channel that I know you will have watched, showing the tidying, the tidying stuff I've done. So it's all nice and neat. But it's just I need to put the rocks and corals in, and I haven't done that today. What else did I do? I think that might be my weekend reefing, Ryan.
Normally you get me for like 40 minutes or half an hour, and you're like 4 minutes. I'll do.
I know. So I genuinely think that's all I've done this week, because
we're now back in line with where we should be.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think that's all I've done. I was planning on testing. I haven't tested my my nutrients on the new tank yet.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna do that. But to be honest, even if phosphates are really high or nitrates are really high, I don't think I'm going to do. I think I'm still going to move everything across. Because all the corals I've got there at the moment are fine. And they, I think everything's okay. Alkalinity is fine, but really what I wanted to do today was a full suite of tests on the new tank, because I've done a full suite of tests on the water box. Full suite of tests, make sure everything's okay. I know salinity is okay. It was a little bit off, but I've leveled it out. Full suite of tests, then move everything across. But I just didn't get time. So,
do we have a date for the fish relocation process? And so, look, you know me, I genuinely don't care. I
know. So potentially, yeah, go on.
No, like you. So I actually did some frags anyway, like not in that tank. I did them in a separate tank, if you see what I mean. And I took them out and left them in some water for a period of time, so that anything that comes off them, and then moved them back in. Just because, so don't worry about me if you see what I'm doing. I'm doing what I need to do anyway.
Cool. Okay.
I just wondered if you had a rough idea when.
Well, the thing is, I know. I'd like to do it next weekend, but I'm going away on holiday the week after that.
Okay.
So, by the way, Sunday the 14th, no live stream because I'll be
surprise.
I know. So I'll have someone tank sitting, so house sitting, who will look after the tank. But I don't know if I want to trust them with all my fish. I think I'd rather just leave it a week.
Yeah, that's fine.
So I think probably pencil it in for the weekend of the 20th and the 21st, if that's all right.
Yep, sounds good to me.
Cool.
Okay, so my week in reefing?
Yeah, that's it. That's all I got. So
okay.
You made a video.
Right. I made a video and I put it on during the England game, and I thought to myself, there is no way that Alex would put a video out during the England game, because you want to like maximize the amount of views, and I just don't care. I just don't care anymore.
That's so but there'll be plenty of people who don't watch football at all.
Yeah,
who hate it, and you upload a video and they're like, cool, I get to watch that.
Well, I actually made that video on Monday this week.
Oh, really?
Yes. So someone wrote on one of my previous videos, it's like you've got your mojo back, and like to some extent, I am excited about the hobby again. I did lose it for a period of time, and yeah. So in that video, which I'm sure you haven't watched because you were busy, I've taken the fish out of the quarantine tank now, so they have gone from the quarantine tank into the water box, and the video is just showing the process. So that's what I did on Monday, and I actually quite enjoyed making that video. You know how sometimes you go through stages where you're like, I don't really feel like, I'm not really feeling it.
Yeah.
I now have a TikTok account as well, so if you're on TikTok, go follow me. Yeah. All I'm doing is I'm literally I have put I've edited some previously old videos and put them on there, so they're like shorter. But also I am just posting the long videos on there, because you can do that as well now.
So literally just the YouTube videos.
Yeah, just the YouTube videos. Yeah.
Nah.
Why no?
Nah. Because that's not what TikTok's for. TikTok's not for long form videos.
It got 35,000 views in 15 minutes.
Oh my god! So I despair about TikTok.
To be fair, no one it says how many people watched to the end. There was like hardly any. I think it's people just swiping through.
Exactly, yeah. But this is I despair about TikTok because it does that, and that is not 35,000 proper views. No. Like that, it's nowhere near comparable to YouTube, for example.
Yeah.
But what it does is, when I had a mate who started a TikTok account, he uploaded a video, it got like 500,000 views or something. And he's like, oh, wow, this is amazing. Yeah. And I think that's what they do. They try to get you on the hook early by just putting it in someone's feed or whatever and giving you a fool's number.
Yeah.
But yeah. So what is it? Is it at Prestige Reef?
Yeah, it's just at Prissy River. To be fair, I've had it for a year. My first video was posted a year ago.
Yeah.
I've never done anything on it, and I just decided to just upload a couple of other videos. But it isn't really for me. But I just thought, see, I spoke to someone. There's a lady who's coming to Aqua who has 800,000 followers, and I just thought that is a lot of followers.
Yeah.
So, and I just thought, well, like, although we have both gone, well, it's not really for us. Like, what's the harm in just uploading it and just like not putting any effort in, if you see what I mean? Like,
yeah,
so
that's fair. I have a TikTok account, but I haven't. Don't think I've uploaded any videos to it. I started it a couple of years ago, but I don't. What I don't like is so when you often get it the other way around. So when people who are really big on Instagram make videos on YouTube. It's always vertical videos, portrait videos.
Yes,
and they upload them onto videos, and everyone hates it. It's
yeah,
like, no, this is horizontal. This shouldn't be vertical.
yeah.
And I feel like it's the same the other way. Like you're mugging your audience off.
Yeah, I did realize that, but I just thought I'm not like I don't want to make separate ones, if you see what I mean. So that's why I did at the start of the week. You see what I mean? Why I've got like some passion at the moment. If I'm starting a TikTok account and things, it's like I'm excited.
Very unlike you. And here you are. Look at that. Five TikToks.
5 TikToks, yeah. Do you know what is weird? It doesn't like, so when it says man farms coral in his house, that doesn't feel natural for YouTube, but it does feel natural for TikTok, if you see what I mean.
Yeah, because TikTok, you're probably most of your audience is not reef keepers.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, true.
Whereas this is,
and they also, most of them have like 3 seconds of attention span. That is not being mean. If you actually look at the algorithm, like the analytics, they have 3 seconds of attention span.
Yeah.
So I just thought I'll give it a go, and if you want to follow me, like I might start doing it more seriously. And also the other thing is you don't have to put as serious videos out. You can just like film something quickly, just throw it up if you want.
Yeah, the thing, if you to do it properly, you need to put the people who do well at it. Actually put the same kind of effort into a TikTok post as I would do a YouTube video.
Yeah.
But you're right. You can still. I've got a couple of videos that I've uploaded as shorts on my YouTube channel. And I bet they do all right on TikTok because they're well suited. So you can just like if you post Instagram Reels, they cross over quite well. So I don't hate that.
I did consider it, but we'll see. Anyway, so that's the start of the week. Then on Tuesday, I got a new coral order in. Which I actually got it from a different place that I usually get it. It's still from like Indonesia, but it was like a different location, which means you get entirely different corals. So the first place I normally get them from is you get loads of torches and hammers and things like that. Whereas this one had Goniopora, Pectinia, like all this other random stuff that I don't normally get. So I got those in. I got this really, really beautiful Goni in, and I posted a picture of it. And this always happens. There's one coral which is so nice, and that's always the one that comes in a bit ropey, and it doesn't survive. It survives long enough just to show you like a couple of polyps, and you go, wow, that looks going to be really, really beautiful. And then it doesn't last. And that's what happened. I saw that one. Yeah, it was a really, really nice Goni. Quite a few people keep messaging me even now about it. I'm like, I literally don't have it anymore. I've kept the skeleton anyway, just in case. Yeah, that was it. I think that could have been a really, really nice one.
There's some nice colours, yeah.
But so I've kept the skeleton because sometimes Gonies sort of die off and then come back, but I don't think that that's going to happen with this one. However, something cool that happened, I had a fungia, and I don't know if they do this intermittently. It grew massive. So it grew from like a little to like a speck. It was a homegrown one. You know, when they die, they give off babies, don't they? Yeah. Well, it came from the shop gave me one of the little tiny babies where it was a couple of millimeters wide, and I grew it to a big piece, like 4 or 5 inches, and then that's died. That's just died after like probably 7 years or something. It's died, and now it's got like probably 100 babies on it. It's so cool, yeah. And I wonder if that's like a natural part of the process because like nothing changed in the tank. So why did it randomly start dying? I wasn't sure if that's like how it reproduces.
So like it knows it's on its way out, so it starts pooping out babies or whatever.
But why? What do you mean? Literally nothing changed in the tank. It's not like it's like an acro. These things are pretty hardy. So I just wondered if they go, right, now is my time to reproduce, they die back and then turn into like 100 babies.
Yeah, I don't have enough experience with fungi. Did you say?
Yeah.
I don't have enough experience with them, so I don't really know. I've only started keeping them in recently.
I've only ever seen one type that does this, and it's usually a green one with an orange mouth. I've never seen any other ones do it. But sometimes people are listening and they go, "Oh no, that's not what happened." But it's pretty unusual for me to lose a coral that I've had for a long, long time, because the systems are like pretty stable. So, but I'm glad I kept it, because I can't wait now until all of those little 100 ones have grown up big enough to like look like them, if you see what I mean.
Yeah.
So that was that. I did a load of fragging. That was exciting. I actually quite enjoyed that, because work experience guy came. Came 2 weeks later, and he basically went to me, "What have you done in the last 2 weeks?" So he's now held me accountable. So I'm like, I need to get on and do some stuff and to get some of these frags done, so that when he comes on Wednesday, he's going to go, "Oh, well done, Ryan, gold star. You did some stuff."
Okay, I like it that you've got a monthly review with me and
Yeah.
an interim review with him as well.
He doesn't hold back. He literally just
okay.
went, "What's changed?" So, but you don't need to frag stuff all the time, if you see what I mean. So
No, okay.
it doesn't particularly matter. But I did it. And the final thing that I'm going to talk about, there is one other thing that I might talk about next week, which you obviously know about, but I'm not going to talk about it now. But I have just done 2 600-liter water changes on the water box.
I saw on Instagram, yeah.
So I did one on Friday, and I did one today. Friday's one went really smoothly. I used my Vectra M1 from the old Red Sea tank and put it in the barrel outside, the one that's behind the wall, and then got a 10-meter hose and pumped it in.
Literally a hose pipe, a garden hose pipe.
It's not. It's thicker than a garden hose pipe. It's like a pond hose pipe.
Yeah. Okay, fine.
And I put that onto the M1, and then put that into the tank. Now I've got someone here with me, and she was holding onto the pipe, but I didn't hold onto it tightly enough, because it sort of went whoosh, and sort of sprayed all over the floor. But
so she wasn't holding your pipe right, and it sprayed all over the floor. Yes. I see. Okay.
She's not listening, so she's in the other room. But the reason I did that is because if I ever need to do a proper water change on that tank, I have an auto water change system but I don't have any. I have literally one 25-liter barrel. I don't have any way to do a serious water change.
Yeah.
So I can now drain that tank down and fill it back up with 600 liters of new water in an hour. That's hour. It's pretty good for a 600-liter water change.
600 liters an hour. It's very good.
And if it wasn't for how slow the water comes out, because I've just got a normal siphon, I could probably do it in like 20 minutes.
I've tried doing water changes, draining water from a tank with like a proper pump before.
Yeah.
But because you've got gravity as well, it comes out so fast. It's just, if you can just go wrong too easily. It's not worth doing. Yeah. What salt do you use, by the way?
Tropic Marine Pro.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. It supposedly mixes cleanest, which is why I picked that one, because obviously in the coral farm, I'm mixing it in part of the system. You understand how it works.
In a big tank, a sump, basically.
Yeah, so I separate the sump, put the salt and the water in, and then reattach the sump. So I couldn't have a salt that was dirty, if you see what I mean.
No, that's because you wouldn't be able to clean it. I see.
Yeah. There was when you get the bucket, there's always like crud around the bottom of it. It couldn't be like that.
So I've used
in the tank.
Exactly. Apart from the first ever salt I bought, first ever box, I think I've used 3 salts. That's it. Because you tend to pick a salt and stick with it. So my reefing career in 10 years, I've tried 3 salts. I started with DD H2 Ocean, I think it was.
Yeah, same. Is that still around? I'm assuming it is.
I presume so. I've not seen it, but it must be. And then I started using Red Sea Blue Bucket for a few years. And then, but I found with I can't remember DD, but the Red Sea Blue Bucket used to leave brown crud at the bottom of the saltwater mixing thing. And then I eventually switched to Tropic Marine Pro, I don't know, 3 years ago, something like that. And it does still make your water change bucket dirty, but it takes a long time. You don't have to clean it out very often at all. So
have you ever used the high alkalinity Red Sea salt?
No, Pro,
Pro
or something. No, I haven't, but I did see I always used to think, I just didn't. I completely wrote that off. I'm not interested at all.
Yeah.
And then I saw Coral Euphoria made a video.
If he does it, I'm using it.
Exactly, he used it. I was like, that's really interesting, because I've always saw it as a salt that people who are lazy or don't want to dose, for example, use it because it's got higher. So maybe people do that thinking they don't need to dose, whatever. But he used it because it had higher levels of magnesium or strontium or some potassium. I can't remember what it was, something like that. I can't even remember why. That was so long ago I watched the video.
Yeah.
But then when he did that, I thought, should I change my salt? So no, just stick with it. There's nothing wrong with my salt. Just stick with it. But you know what it's like. You watch a video like that and you think, maybe I should be doing that bit. But no, so I've never used that though, and I don't think I would do. But
I only used it once. So quite a few people seem to not like. They love the blue one, but not get on with the other one, and I'm just not sure why. And that's why I wonder if you had experience with it.
No,
I know you like to change what you do all the time.
I do. There's some things I stick with. If I stick with all the time. But the Red Sea blue bucket, Red Sea Coral Pro, I think it's called.
Yeah.
The black bucket, maybe, whatever it is. Anyway, the high parameter Red Sea salt.
Yeah.
BRS did a video on that, and they showed it was how the parameters maintain stability over time. So if you mix up a bucket of salt and leave it for 24 hours, like Tropic Pro Reef, the calcium and alkalinity levels don't really fluctuate. If you mix up a bucket of Red Sea Blue bucket, it's the same. If you mix up a bucket of Red Sea Black bucket, the Coral Pro stuff, the parameters start high and then they precipitate and they start to drop.
Oh.
So it doesn't store well, is what they said. I've never had it, so I don't know. But so I think most people, although to be fair, and their advice was, look, if you use this stuff, mix it up really quickly and get it in your tank.
Yeah.
But Abe, Coral Euphoria, I'm sure he mixed it for like 24 hours. Again, it's years since I've seen the video, but I'm sure he mixed it for a long time. So I don't know. But no, I have no experience of it. I just I like stuff that's roughly where I want my parameters to be.
Same as me.
Yeah, exactly. Because I don't really do water changes to adjust my element levels.
Yeah.
I do it to remove bad stuff, basically. So
well, I've just done 1,200 liters on a 900 liter tank.
That must have been expensive.
It was expensive, but like obviously I get it the wholesale cost, so it's slightly cheaper, but it's not that much cheaper. Let's put it that way.
No.
But it's so there's been a few different sort of chemicals in that tank. Obviously, there were the dinoflagellates, which died off, and then actually that's quite interesting. So obviously, I bought the microscope, and I tested the tank previously to have a look to see what was in it, and their dinoflagellates are still in there, which I think they'll always be in there. I believe that's how it works. I'm not sure if that's 100% correct or if they will all eventually die.
I think so. Yeah.
But now when I look, it's diatoms which is in there, and they're like these like little stringy, they're like grains of rice is what they look like thousands and thousands of grains of rice. Now supposedly diatoms is better than dinoflagellates because it will get rid of them eventually, is what I learned from your live stream with.
Okay.
That's what I'm believing. So there is diatoms in there at the moment, but I'm siphoning them off a little bit, but I'm not overly fussed. Every day I look under the microscope to make sure that they're still winning, and they are.
Fine.
So,
that's really interesting. So you actually get a clear picture. That's kind of like testing, isn't it? It's like it's a test for diatoms and dinoflagellates. So you get to see
it's way more interesting than doing a water test, because when you look through it, it looks like a motorway of all these different grains of rice that are all moving around. So yeah, I'll show you next time you come down. I'll show you because it's genuine. I thought this is a waste of money buying a microscope, but it's just so much fun. Everything, I put everything under there now.
Interesting.
So, it might wear off. The novelty might wear off. But even if I get something like a coral or something like that eventually, where something goes wrong or something, I'll be able to look through it. It'll be interesting, I think. And the chances are I'll see nothing.
Yeah. But you started sending me. You putting everything under it at the moment. You've started just
Yeah.
sending every 5 minutes. I get a video from Ryan. I'm like, this is going to be something under a microscope.
Yes, I've done hair, blood, skin. None of it was mine.
Yeah.
I've done grass and petals and onion. Onion was one of the best ones.
Onion.
Yeah, a red onion was so interesting.
What was interesting about?
I'll send you the pictures of it after the live stream. But it genuinely was like amazing.
I will take your word for it.
So, and then I'm trying to think what else. So, but yeah, so the plan is I'm planning to put coral in tomorrow.
Ooh,
Just some,
exciting.
just probably just a few acros, just to like get me started, if you see what I mean.
Yeah.
Like I've got some in the coral farm, which they were in there originally. I'm just going to put them back. They've just grown, and I'll probably put your ones in there as well. So, yeah.
I need to come and visit them at some point. Well, the good news is I've remembered there was one more thing from my week in reefing.
Nice.
Talking about. I think you were just about to say that was your week in reefing, right?
That is my week in reefing, yes.
Okay, this shows how disorganized I am because I've just been watching football instead of prepping.
Oh, good.
The topic for the live stream.
Oh yes, that's so
temperatures. So there is so British people love doing certain things, complaining about the football, queuing for stuff, and grumbling at people who skip the queue, and talking about the weather. Right, as soon as it gets hot or cold, we just can't get enough of it. It's always too hot, isn't it? Yeah, it was too hot. Yeah, and last week it started to get hot, and people's tanks started to go a bit spiky in temperature. So let's talk about that today because we're British and it's weather, it's wicked. Yeah. So you don't have much to add to this conversation.
No, because I have an air conditioning unit.
25 degrees, 365 days a year.
Correct. Yeah. And, well, it doesn't actually quite work like that because I have to try to counteract the electricity cost as well, because I can't have it where the air conditioning is blowing cold and the heater's coming on.
Yes, of course.
You have to try to you do have to balance it, and you only balance it twice a year, once in sort of like the summer and once in the winter. I just sent you a picture, by the way, of that onion. But it was interesting. See.
It's not really interesting, is it? But okay,
I found it interesting. Anyway. The
onion chat with Prestige Reef.
Yes, true. What was I saying? I was saying that. Oh yeah, so for me, it's very simple. However, previously there have been other methods that I've tried. I have had one of those. Oh.
So actually, before you go on to the other stuff you've tried, because actually that's the dream, having it so you never get a temperature spike, and you do that by you have heaters that heat your tank. And then you have an air conditioning that kicks in, that air conditions your room, your farm.
Yeah.
If the room gets above a certain temperature. So.
Correct. Yeah. So basically, if the room gets above like 25 degrees, it will kick in. So it doesn't. It's not like cool in there, if you see what I mean. It just stops the tanks from getting overheating. So it's not for me. It's for them.
Yeah.
And it's the same. I have air conditioning in the house, but only in one room, and it's only in the room with the tank in. So on that day when it was boiling hot, when I say boiling hot, it was like 28 degrees, wasn't it? I think, or something.
Last week, yeah.
So because I'm in a new build, it's really, really like well insulated. So it was boiling upstairs, but downstairs, my tank was loving it.
That's funny. I would like to get an air conditioner. I always think every time December comes around, I think buy an air conditioning, a small one now.
Yeah.
Because no one's got any money spare in December and no one's buying air conditioners in December. So they're bound to be cheapest. And I have a budget ring fenced for reef stuff. So I could do it. But I forget. I don't forget. I just think, no. And so I don't do it. But I'd like that. Because then when your main room, you just need to call your one room that's your tank's in. And on the really hot days, it means that room's nice and cool as well for you and whoever lives in your house.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's like when I leave to go out somewhere and all my neighbors have all got their windows open, they must look at my house and go, why is all his windows closed? So, and I'm sitting in here, with my little cocktail going, Nice
It's
and,
pretty sweet.
nice and 21 degrees in here.
But so on the point of opening the window, so I don't have major issues with temperature anymore.
Yeah.
I always have done it in the past, but last couple of years, even last year, actually I can't remember how I got on last year, but I don't remember having big issues last year when it got mentally hot. I think I had to take extreme measures. But this week just gone, the tank behind me, the Cade, did start to get a bit hot. It sits at 24 degrees C all year round, but it got up to 26 and a half. And so I was like, well, I should probably, that's 26 and a half. That's not going to cause any harm, but I thought I should probably do something about it. And with a tank like that, you don't need an expensive solution. So you can see, and you can see from the thumbnail as well, what I've done is these two, they're just PC fans. I got them from Amazon. If you just search Eluteng, Eluteng, it's twin PC fans. You plug them into a USB socket, and I've got them turned off at the moment, although 25 degrees, so but still. And that as soon as I did that, no problem solved instantly. It fixed it.
Yeah.
On my other tank, my water box, I have the Tunzi Aquawind 2, the new Tunzi fan, and it's like 100 and something quid, really expensive. It looks a little bit sexier than those PC fans, to be fair, a lot more low profile. And is it better? I don't actually think it does a better job, to be honest. It just looks better. But it's 100 quid, and those PC fans were 15 quid, I think 20 quid. Yeah. So it's surprising. And I did a test because when I made the video for the Tunzi fan, I wanted to compare it. So I put out a load of vats, like just water vats with fans on them, and I measured the temperature over the course of an hour or something.
You have too much time on your hands.
I know.
Who does this other than you?
I know. And I compared it to, I got the Tunzi, and I got the cheapest, crappiest Chinese one I could find that cost like £1.
Yeah.
And the Tunzi, you can feel the breeze. You can feel the breeze from 2 feet away. With this little crappy Chinese one I bought with just 2 little tiny fans, you could hold it next to your face and you were like, I think it's working. Yeah, I think that. Have I got it? Is it on? It is on. So it did do something, but that was about it. But when I did the test, I was amazed how well the crap one performed. The Tunzi was better, but it was surprising. I thought the Tunzi was going to be way better, but it wasn't really. And that's why I now have those. I've got a different implementation, but that's why I have those little PC fans. They're quiet, they blow strong enough, and you just blow them across the top of your tank. And obviously, you've got to keep an eye on your freshwater reservoir not running dry because you're going to evaporate more water. But that's all it takes, a cheap little solution like that. And they actually don't look too bad. They're a bit messy there. I need to install them a bit more neat, but they actually look fine. And the other thing I've done with them on my main tank, I've got the exact same Eluteng. I've got about 5 of those things in my house. And I've got the exact same one in the main tank, only I don't have anything blowing across the top of the water. I've got them in the cabinet. And this is before I put the sump in.
Yeah.
They're just sat in the cabinet like that because there's this little gap over here that air can escape. Otherwise, this is a really sealed cabinet. So I've just put those 2 in there, and that has all it has taken. And that doesn't blow air across the water. It just sucks air out of the cabinet at the sump area, and that's it. That has kept the temperature at 24 degrees, even last week when it was really hot. Didn't budge. Amazing.
Do you run it at
really effective? Yes, when I had SPS, it was 25, but I bumped it down a bit. Okay. I run my LPS tanks at 24. But I started doing that because I wanted to keep Scullies, and I've only got 2. Can't really get them anymore. But I wanted to keep Scullies, and everybody says Scullies like cooler temperatures, really 24 is the maximum. But LPS generally come from cooler waters, so it's probably better for them. Whether it actually makes a difference, I wouldn't. It's not like if you sat there at home thinking, I run LPS tanks and it's 25 degrees. That's why they're all struggling.
Yeah.
But I think it probably is better to run LPS tanks cooler. But either way, I wouldn't. That's not like I wouldn't say, "Oh, you must do this." Yeah.
I'm gonna go do that with all the thousands of pounds of coral. Exactly. I'm now going to change it because you said on this live stream I'm going to do it.
Exactly, but the thing, so that those fans, all they're just vacuuming water out or sucking water out of the cabinet, not evaporating water off the tank, and it keeps it cool. When it
It
comes
must have some level of evaporation because you're removing the
not
moisture
really.
from it, which allows more moisture to come out of it.
Possibly, yeah, maybe that's it. Because the reason I did that on my last tank, on my Peninsula 500, I used the same system. Only the reason I did that was because it was the same. It was really enclosed. There's nowhere for the air to escape, so the cabinet got really sweaty above the sump. So I used that to stop it getting sweaty. But what I found was in the summer, because suddenly there's all that warm water that's been sitting there getting sweaty, gets removed, it cools the tank down. So it's a double effect.
Yeah.
And if that, to be fair, there might come a point when that's not enough, and I do need a fan, and I'll just put a little tunsy in the sump.
Have you ever filled up a bottle of water with ice? With
No,
a bottle of water, put it in the freezer, and then put the bottle of ice in the tank.
No.
I've done that.
Have you really?
I have done. This was a long time ago. This is it's all coming out now. I actually don't know how effective that is.
You can do the maths on it. It's not very effective. But if you have a small tank and you put a lot in, it does work. But then it doesn't take long for that water to warm up. It was
a 1,000-litre tank. And do you know what else? Which I only remembered literally during this live stream when you were talking about fans. I didn't have a specific aquarium fan or a computer fan. I had one of those round white desktop fans. What I did is I stacked boxes up next to the tank and put the fan on the boxes so they obviously wouldn't fall in, and turned it on, and it worked. So in the case of emergency, this was probably 15 years ago now, but in an emergency, if you've just got a normal fan, that'll work too, as long as you get it at the right height.
If it's stupid but it works, then it's not stupid.
True.
And actually, that was the I did the same thing. So I whenever on my Peninsula 500, when that did get too hot last summer, I would stack up a couple of boxes or whatever, put a desk fan on it, and blow that into the sump. And then because the way to do it, if you don't have the ventilation in the sump like I do, or you don't have fans blown over the top, or even if you do have that and it's still getting too hot, there are a few things you need to do. First off, prevention. So close all your curtains and your blinds, close your windows, because you'll just let hot air in otherwise. So don't talk about the cardboard boxes.
That's literally what I was thinking.
Come on to that.
Your Ted Baker cardboard box.
So you close your windows, you close your blinds, you close your curtains, and which means it's quite dark, but that's the way it's got to be. That keeps the room cool. You open the cabinet doors, that will let warm air out, and then you blow fans across the top. Because lots of people will say, "Oh no, you keep your windows open." You don't. If it's hot outside, if it's hotter outside than it is inside, you're just going to get. It doesn't matter that there's a breeze every now and then. You're just letting warm air in. So I've tried this 1,000 times. Blinds and curtains closed, windows closed. Open them in the evening when it gets cooler, but you've got to stop the hot air getting in. And then fans. It doesn't have to be expensive fans. The Tunsy one is nice. It does look good. Well, it looks better than the PC fans, but 18 quid PC fans.
I wouldn't want them sitting there permanently.
No, see, that's the thing. I've put them up this week, and they're not normally there.
Okay. I would say, because some people, I've seen tanks where they're there permanently. I'm like, look, that's not going to be used for 95% of the year. It just looks ugly.
Well, the other thing, so the Tunsy one's got a nice mounting system that grips to the glass.
Yeah.
Whereas that was designed to go in a PC, so it's just sat on top. And to be fair, I've got a mesh cover on it, so if it fell over, it wouldn't go in the tank. But still, it's you don't want that, do you? So no, I don't have. I could 3D print a little bracket. I keep thinking about that, actually, that will hold them in place. But
I want to know how many people in the chat are sitting there thinking, I'm that person that Ryan just spoke about who has it there for 100% of the time, even though they only need it for like 3 days a year.
Yeah. Well, there'll also be people who do the old ice bottles in the tank thing.
Yeah.
I see every summer when it gets hot, people do it. And to be fair, it's better than nothing. If your tank's getting really hot.
Yeah. I remember.
It's just a very inefficient way of doing it, I think.
Do you know what the hottest your tank's ever got to?
Oh, like 28, something like that. 28
and a half. Mine was like 29 once.
Yeah.
But this was when I think this was either before I had corals or I only had soft corals at the time. It was a long time ago.
28 is 82.5 Fahrenheit and 29 is 84 Fahrenheit.
Either way, it's too hot.
Hot, yeah. And when it was at 28, It's just a couple of years ago. I think this is when I had my cardboard boxes on the white cardboard boxes on the outside of the windows, reflecting the heat away.
Yeah,
that I was getting proper technical.
reflecting the heat.
Sorry, reflecting the sun away. It doesn't reflect the heat away; it reflects the sun away. But and that was at that point I was like, well, 28 degrees. They're currently okay, but that's at the point at which you don't have much wiggle room, and it could very easily just suddenly they could all just go, you know what, I've had enough of this. So that's hot. You don't want that.
And the final thing, which we haven't actually mentioned, is some people have chillers. That's the appropriate thing to be doing. It's very expensive, though. I think.
So the thing is, there'll be people in hot countries. There's someone earlier who commented saying they're in Texas.
Yeah.
And you need a different solution to what I need. And if you're in Australia, chillers are really popular. In fact, they're so popular that the Cade tanks, which are an Australian brand, they have a dedicated section for chillers in the sump area. So some countries are really popular, but over here, I think they're pretty, because you have to vent them outside, don't you? Because if they're drawing in air through in the same room, it's no good. They don't do anything, or maybe they're not as effective. I think, but
I think they do. It's just they're not as effective. I don't think many people would vent them outside, if I'm honest.
Right.
Most people would have them in their cabinet or next to the tank or whatever. But then again, look, but you are correct. They need to be able to get rid of the heat. So all they're doing is they're putting the heat into the room.
Yeah.
So
if you set it up properly, I'm sure they're very good. But they seem to be, I don't know, and they're very expensive to buy and they're very expensive to run.
And they're noisy.
Okay. So just a fan on top of the tank, can't beat it. And even just house fan, if you've got just a house fan lying around, put it on top of the tank. As long as it doesn't fall in.
In some parts of Australia, I think that you can't have a tank without having a chiller, I reckon.
I bet.
Because although they do have air conditioning.
That's true. Yeah. But every now and then I see people from like Indonesia or India where it's like mentally hot all the time, and they have their tank at like 29 degrees centigrade. And I don't know how successful they are, but it happens. So you must be able to do it with some of it. But because someone commented earlier about Malawi cichlids being 31 degrees. What's the discus? They like hot temperatures, like I think about 30 degrees, something like that.
Do they?
Yeah. I had a neighbour who up the road. He saw the blue light, and outside my house, he was like, "Do you know about fish?" I was like, "Yeah, I know a little bit about saltwater fish. Yeah, why?" And he said, "Oh, because I'm getting cichlids. Sorry, I'm getting discus for my daughter." Oh. I was wondering if you'd give me a hand setting up, and I was like, "How old's your daughter?" And she was like 7 or 8 or something. I was like, "Do you know how hard they are to keep?"
Yeah.
So I keep fishing. I keep saltwater fishing corals, and discus are too difficult for me.
Yeah, I knew one lady who had discus and had them successfully, and she didn't do anything special.
Yeah, okay.
But I don't know how she kept them. I think she probably had like 10 of them. They're just boring. Like
they are, but they look cool, but they don't do much to you. It's all freshwater fish. They just sit there, and it's like, can you move, please?
I had what was it? I had a breeding group of frontosas for a day, which were interesting. But I'm not. Don't know. They don't have a. I don't know how we've got on this, considering we're talking about heat, but they don't have a soul. Freshwater fishes, in my opinion, because they don't act natural. Marine fish, even marine fish which have been raised in captivity, act more natural than freshwater fish. You put your finger up to a tank with a yellow tang in it, the tang will hide. You put your finger up to a tank full of guppies, they will surround your finger. I'm sure you've done it before.
Yeah.
So, and I want my fish to act naturally. Yeah. So that was actually something that I really appreciated from moving them from the quarantine into the water box.
Oh, of course, yeah.
All of a sudden they were like swimming around and going through the caves and pecking at the rocks. But like it was a massacre for the amphipods. It was an absolute. It was a free for all when those fish went in.
It's funny because last week you said they were having the time of their lives. They were bickering amongst themselves and they were like, my biggest problem is my fellow amphipod's a dickhead. And then the week later is like, this massacre of fish coming in.
Yeah, it'll be known as the Great Massacre of June 2024.
Yeah,
It's what for the amphipods. They'll go in their diary. You know what's interesting? Now that they're in there, you don't see a single one. Like,
yeah.
I don't know if they felt safe or they've just all been eaten. They can't have all been eaten, but you know what I mean.
No. They just hide, don't they? And so I lifted up. I moved a coral from the water box to the main tank yesterday, day before, whenever it was, and there are a load of amphipods just scuttling around. And as soon as you lift anything up, there's loads of them.
Yeah,
they're like cockroaches, aren't they?
Yeah.
So they're always in there, but they'll
just
just be hiding.
They had no fear. They just
got
out,
bold, yeah.
Yeah, they didn't care. They were out in the middle of the day, right, like just walking across the sand. And then they're not anymore.
No.
The angelfish went crazy. They literally, it was like,
yeah.
So I just imagine it's like, run!
Yeah, poor things.
Yeah.
I'm getting like World War II music in my head, like from
or like
Private Ryan.
What is what's the movie with the aliens? War of the Worlds. That's
what
I imagine. I imagine it was like, yeah, War of the Worlds.
The guy who wrote War of the Worlds, I can never remember his name. H.G. Wells. I should be able to remember that. He's from Woking, which is my nearest sea. And there's loads of those alien spaceships, like bronze sculptures of them in Woking.
Oh, is it? We're getting all sorts of facts on this live stream, aren't we?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Which is just as well because we've run out of stuff to talk about in terms of temperature, because that's it.
True.
If there's stuff that we haven't mentioned that you do to keep your tanks cool in the summer, tell us in the chat, share it. Actually, that's the other thing. I did a poll earlier to see what salt people use, and I can only think of 3 salts off the top of my head. So you can give up to 4 options. So I did other, which won with 40%. Tropic, then it was Tropic Marine Pro, Red Sea Blue Bucket, and DDH2 Ocean. Tropic Marine Pro was 28%, Red Sea Blue Bucket 21%, H2 Ocean 9%. And I said other, comment below, and then I realised that I get 1,000 comments. What I was going to do actually the other day, I joined a live stream for some audio channel, and he was doing it was in subscriber only mode. And so you can only comment if you're a subscriber. And I thought, oh, is that worth doing? Because it's difficult when you get 1,000 messages in the chat, you can't focus it. And even when you're looking at them, there's too many. And I wondered if that's a good idea to filter it down. But I don't think it is, because I don't want to stop people. Because the downside of that is if you're not subscribed, you won't be able to comment. And that kind of isolates people. And you could subscribe, but it won't. So I don't think I want to do it. But
so it's not paying. It's literally just clicking the subscribe button.
Yeah.
Well,
but it'll still stop people.
Full price to pay.
Yeah, I might get accused of trying to force people to subscribe as well.
I would be the person that accused you of doing that.
Yeah. So I don't think I'll do that. You can do member only mode as well.
That really would annoy people.
If I had, I think that's the big channels do that, who've got millions of subscribers,
of course,
and hundreds of members, because then it makes sense. Otherwise, you've got tens of thousands of messages. But I think I just keep it as is. But I saw it and I quite liked it.
I think people like to talk to each other as well, as you see in the chat sometimes.
Exactly. Yeah, completely. And you don't need to be subscribed to talk to each other. It's like, and I don't want people to think, oh, I have to subscribe. So probably better not to.
But you do if it's for my new TikTok. You have to subscribe.
Oh, of course. And East Coast Reefer says, is there anyone here that isn't subscribed? There will be millions of people here.
Probably me.
Yeah, you better bloody be subscribed. But I think let me have a look at my stats for the last video.
Are you about to tell me that I'm not subscribed?
No, I don't. You can filter. You can see but you've told me you're subscribed before. I don't.
I am.
You don't have to. What was I going to say? But you can, let me have a look and see, because I wouldn't be surprised if it was 70% not subscribed, maybe even more. Analytics. Let's watch the last stream. Not many people watch the last stream, only under 2,500 views. But let's search by subscribed or not subscribed. Audience. 85%. Oh, 85% subscribed. Wow, I'm completely wrong.
Wow.
Okay, so there you go. But let's find one that's got more views. There we go, 6,000 views. Let's look at that because I'm interested. Audience.
This is riveting podcast content.
Still 80% subscribed. So people, if you're watching this, you probably subscribe. Interesting. So subscriber only mode wouldn't change squat.
True.
But anyway, fine. All right. Well, in that case, so I was going to move on to member questions, but we haven't had any member questions this week. Everyone's on holiday, Ryan.
Including us.
Literally everybody. Yeah, exactly. Everyone's on holiday and everybody's watching the footer. And Sir Stu says it's because we rock. And Charles Bentley says we are a loyal bunch, Alex.
Is there a lower amount of people watching than you? I can't see how many people watch, but I know you can. Is there a lower amount than usual?
You are loyal, and I appreciate you all. 132. There's normally about 200, but the last couple of weeks has been quieter. The last live stream, it normally gets 4,000 to 6,000 views per live stream, roughly. Last week was just under 2.5 because it's summer and everyone's gone away, so there's less. And at the moment, 130, so that's a bit less, but yeah. And this is likely to be a short one, partly because I didn't have any time to plan because I was away all weekend. But partly because one of the downsides of I've changed how I upload the podcast, and it takes me longer to upload it after the stream. So if the live stream runs on too long, I'm up till midnight waiting to upload it. So
you're like an old man. You like to be in bed about 10, don't you?
Yeah, I do. I'm literally an old man. So
true.
But that does mean that we move on to the Prestige Reef Fish of the Week.
Oh, I like how you're like, have you done this?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking.
I have done this. I'm not sure if I've done this before, and I'm pretty sure I haven't done this. I know you're going to love this Fish of the Week.
Oh, no.
It is a scarlet hawkfish. And I
love that fish.
But I have always sort of gone, scarlet hawkfish, not for me, until I got one. Now, I've had one for probably about 100 days now, if not longer, because the reason I said 100 days because that's how long it was in quarantine for. Right. But since it's gone into the main display tag, again, it acts more natural, and it's such a cool fish. It is so interesting, and I think that everyone who hasn't got one, if you have enough room and no small inverts, like little inverts, you should get one. Yeah, like sexy shrimp, but clean shrimp and things like that are fine. But it's just they have such great personalities, and my one's called Gary.
Gary.
Yes, that's literally what we do.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
There he is. Is mine?
Yeah.
He's not called Gary, but
they sort of like that's your one, isn't it?
Yeah.
That one's also here.
Which you currently have, yeah.
Yeah. It was literally because your one was here. I thought I actually quite like that fish, so I went and got my own one. But
so cool.
I didn't feel that way about the long nose hawkfish, and I didn't feel like you've got is it not a geometric hawkfish? What's
Falco.
Falco.
No, the
geometric one.
So yeah, I had it's not actually I think it's a it's a grouper or an anthias or something like that. But anyway, it's called a hawkfish. I did have one. They're very secretive, but they're cool.
Yeah.
But the scarlet is the best. I actually really like the long nose as well, but the scarlet is the coolest because he's got that like bandit eye mask.
Yeah.
It looks like he's up to no good.
Yeah.
There will be. You said that he's okay with cleaner shrimp. By the way, there'll be some people they can eat cleaner shrimp.
Can they?
And there's plenty of people who will report that has happened. I've had mine with cleaner shrimp for like 5 years, and he didn't touch them. And even in fact, when my harlequin tuskfish did attack and kill a cleaner shrimp right in front of me, he was savage. He went for it. My scarlet hawkfish went like when it was ripping it in half, basically, really brutal. The scarlet hawk was perched on a rock next to it, like going, is there any spare stuff going?
Yeah.
I think he wanted a nibble, but he didn't go for it. But I have heard plenty of reports of scarlet hawkfish pecking like legs off and stuff, and then they eat the clean shrimp. But my experience is that they're highly unlikely to attack. It's a risk, but they're highly unlikely. If you've got something like you say, like a sexy shrimp, then you're asking for trouble.
Yeah.
But anything else, you're probably all right.
It seems too like you only ever see them sort of a few inches or a couple of inches, and my clear shrimp are bigger than he is. So
yeah, that's it.
But he's in there. He's in there with two, and they haven't gone missing so far. But then again,
I would have no hesitation. There is a risk that it won't work out, but I would have no hesitation. I think I've probably had 3 scarlet hawkfish now, and they've always been fine. And I've had them for years as well. I'd have no hesitation recommending that.
Yeah, I just think they are. It's their personality to me that makes such a difference. And does yours go like? For some reason, my one swims to the front of the tank and then swims up to the top, and then goes back down and then goes back to his house. For some reason, he just keeps doing the same thing where it goes up to the top right corner. No idea why. Is that a normal thing for them? Are they trying to get higher?
They always perch on places. I find so if I ever put a frag rack in, they go and sit on the frag rack. So and I don't know if this is why they're called hawkfish, but they do act like hawks. They like to sit on rocks and look down at what's going on.
So maybe he's just trying to get, because that's the other thing he does. When there's a snail that's near the top of the tank, he goes and sits on the snail. And he's trying to get as high as possible.
Yeah. That's funny. But they can sit on the glass and just like grip to it with their fins. Yeah. Does yours do that?
Yeah, not as much.
He prefers to sit on snails, but they will just sit. Mine will just sit on the glass. I'm like, how are you gripping onto that?
He goes. It's almost as well. Like they can't swim properly. He goes to the bottom and he like boosts up to the top. And sometimes he gets halfway and then goes back down.
Yeah.
So, isn't it funny that we've just spent like a few minutes talking about the personality of a fish? Now, try and give me that same sort of level of excitement about a lionfish. You can't do it, can you?
Or a neon tetra.
Or a yellow tang. Or anything. Yeah, especially neon tetra.
Yeah. I mean, but that's the thing I love about this hobby and the fish in our hobby is that because it's basically a war zone and they've all got their territories and they need to adapt and all this sort of stuff. There's always something interesting happening. They're always doing something because they've all got different niches and they're all doing something different. They're always doing something quirky. And scarlet hawkfish, they're just amazing. They're so cool. And of course, they don't have a swim bladder, so they can't just float and swim in the middle of the water in the open water. They have to like paddle like buggery to stay afloat. So they're so cool.
I want the people in the comments to say another fish that has an equal personality to a hawkfish. One like I reckon blennies will have it.
Yeah,
blennies will have it because again they just sit down and watch.
There'll be fish like puffers and boxfish and that sort of stuff. But the ones that most people get, Midas blenny. If you want character from a blenny, you want a Midas blenny because they're actually quite social. So most blennies that you'll get. They're really. I love blennies. I love all blennies, but they'll sit in a cave most of the day, poking out, and then they'll swim out and grab some food, and then go back in their cave.
Yeah.
Midas blennies like hanging out with other fish, so they're out loads. And my Midas blenny was wicked. In fact, I think I'm going to get a Midas blenny. Oh, I've got a lawnmower blenny, haven't I? I probably can't.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyway, but blennies are awesome.
Here if you want. Is it a lawnmower you have?
It's a black lawnmower blenny.
Yeah,
I can't remember what it's called.
Not
Starry
like
blenny.
That's what it is. It's a starry one. Yeah, not like an algae blenny. Yeah,
I think he is an algae blenny. I think he's just a different color. But they call starry blennies. That's what they're sold as. But they look cool, and they've got these little weird alien prongs on their heads. But yeah, so Picasso trigger. Oh, interesting. There's a shout for.
I'm surprised with that. Maybe aggression can be considered a first form of personality.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Porcupine puffer.
I have got 7 cover bands, and trust me, cover bands do not have a personality.
You think they're stupid, don't you?
I do think cover bands are some of the dumbest fish you can get.
Bish Bash says octopus.
I'll give you that.
Fair. Valentini puffer, tailspot blenny, clown goby, Midas blenny, midday blenny. What else we got? Puffers. Yeah.
My porcupine puffer was. I really enjoyed having a porcupine puffer. This was again many, many years ago. Why are you laughing?
I'm laughing at this from LJS Reef. I had a falco hawkfish. He was a right prick. So my falco, he's okay. But of the 3 of them, and they all get on fine, of the 3 of them, he's the one that every now and then he's just a bit of a dick. He'll just like go and swim at something just to rile them up or whatever. The other 2 are completely peaceful. He is a bit of a dick, but I've heard they can be really aggressive. But that's a funny comment.
It's interesting how we seem to be able to confuse personality with aggressive-ness towards other fish, if you see what I mean.
Yeah.
So if it's because I was just thinking, that clownfish that used to bite me, that had a personality, but it wasn't a personality. It was just mean.
Mean, yeah, exactly.
So it's interesting. It is interesting. I wonder if you could get a tank filled with just fish, which are all have a personality. Oh, obviously, you could.
Yeah, I don't. I like that. I like the variety. So like, if everything had a massive personality, it might be a bit too much. So I kind of like that you've got just like one or two or whatever. But Gary says that the triggerfish was it follows you and it clicks.
Yeah, the angelfish, the king eye angelfish, clicks at you when you.
Grunts, doesn't he?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, you can hear it sometimes. You can't hear it in the water box so much, but you can definitely hear it in the quarantine tank. So obviously, it's a much smaller area. But it used to, if you didn't feed it quickly enough, it literally will grunt at you.
That's funny. Someone's just said they have a pixie hawkfish, which I've never heard of, and that's also known as a coral hawkfish. They're cool. They're quite small.
They look similar to the Falco one, but like a different color.
The other picture that comes up with on the internet is Falco hawkfish, also known as a spotted hawkfish, apparently. So maybe that's the same thing. I don't know, because that looks like a falco to me. Is that not a falco? Maybe it's not. Oh no, similar to the falco. It's different.
Yeah, it's got slightly different markings.
This isn't
Dalmatian markings.
Yeah, the falco is more brown, I think, whereas that's a bit more black. Yeah, I can't. It's been a while since I've seen my falco, so I don't know. What does he look like, Ryan?
I don't know. It's been a while since I've seen your falco.
He's probably jumped out.
That is one of the fish you don't like. I assume that I've still got all of your fish, but I don't. You've got a list of them. I don't remember what I got. If you see what I mean.
I haven't got a list anymore. No, I deleted that list ages ago.
Oh really?
Or did I?
Fish.
I know. Yeah. Actually, I think I might have a list. I've got a list of what plugs I have. So I better have a bloody list of what.
This is going to be you when you come to the house. You'll be like, Ryan, I've got my list out. 1 second. Algae Blenny, yes.
I'll be like, Jonathan, yes, check. Peter, let me see. Have I got a list? I think I can't. I've got about 12 because I think I drew up a list of fish that I wanted. Yeah, I have got a list. Right.
Yeah.
Let's do the register.
It'll be interesting to know. I assume I still have them all, but there's one that you hardly see. The goby you hardly see.
Goby, which goby did I have? Oh yeah, Randall's goby. Yeah, he hasn't got a pistol shrimp at the moment, so
or a personality.
Oh no, to be fair, when I bought him as a tiny little one, like minuscule, an inch long maybe, and he was really thin and like a toothpick thick.
Yeah.
And I didn't see him for ages. I thought he was dead. I didn't see him for months.
Yeah.
And then eventually you see him. Oh, cool, he's back.
Yeah.
I do like them, but I'd like that because that's when you've got a fish that you don't see for ages, it's a treat when you see them occasionally. So
yeah.
I like the mixture. Yeah. Although now he's bigger. When in my last tank, when he got bigger and he had his pistol shrimp with him all the time, he was a bit more bold. He's still not out all the time. But
white tiger gobies are my favourite fish for that. Are you currently Googling a white tiger goby?
I am. You've had this as a fish of the week before, I think.
I know. I love them. They're such cool fish, and you hardly ever see them.
Yeah.
And if I could get one tomorrow, I'd get one tomorrow. And that is saying something because I literally do not want to get any new fish. I haven't got the stomach for new fish.
Are they difficult to keep, or are they just secretive?
I had one. I literally had one for like 8 years, I reckon. And I think I saw it probably 16 times.
I really.
But they are once you know where they are such a cool fish because they usually have like a little cave somewhere, and they're cool looking as well. I think they're cool looking anyway.
Yeah, they are. They're a bit too secretive. Like the geometric pygmy perchlet, they are pretty secretive, but you see them. If you go a day without seeing them, that's unusual. You see them most days, just most of the time you don't. So once every 6 months, I'm less up for that.
But when you
I guess it's a real treat. Yeah,
it's an event, and sometimes all you see is this flash of white tail as it's come out, grab some food, turn around, you go, oh, was that Jeffrey?
Jeffrey.
Yes, my fish all have people names. So
I like people names for pets. My cat is called Fred Titmus. So,
what was the register? Because I haven't got a week, so I'm interested in see what fish. Because I could tell you if I definitely remember seeing them.
Okay, so we have new tank, whitetail cold tang.
Yes, that's a definite yes.
Two-barred rabbitfish.
That's a definite yes.
Big fat clownfish, Da Vinci.
Definite yes.
Starry Blenny.
Yes.
Randall's goby.
Yes, because it's it's under the frag rack right at the front, so it's just lucky that I can see him.
Yeah. Scarlet hawk, long-nosed hawk, falco hawk.
The falco's the only one that I'm not sure. The other two I definitely are always like right at the front. That the other one I couldn't. I'll go check after the stream. I'm pretty sure I've got it, but I don't remember like seeing it like the clownfish, if you see what I mean.
Yeah. He's the only one. I thought about getting rid of him because he's the only one who's just a little bit of a dick. But I feel like I'm his carer, aren't I? So I don't want to. Anyway, the rest of the others are mystery wrasse. You better not.
Yeah.
And leopard wrasse.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, leopard wrasse is the one I'm looking. So that's it.
I'm gonna go check mystery wrasse as well.
I've only got like 10 fish.
I have so many fish. Obviously, when I feed them, you don't always remember what all of them are. If you see what I mean. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I've got a Scopus tang in this tank. I've not seen you for ages.
It's funny. Yeah, because I don't get that.
Some of the fish hang out under the trays, so you don't see them. And I don't know why. There was one tank that for ages and ages and ages, the fish were just never above the racks, ever. You never. It's not like there was one aggressive fish above the racks. None of them were.
Yeah. So when I set up the water box, that was a frag tank at first. So I just had an egg crate basically halfway up the tank, and all of the fish stayed. And there was live rock underneath the egg crate. Yeah. They all stayed under the rock, under the egg crate all the time.
Yeah.
All of them. And I was like, guys, I've bought you because I want to look at you. All right.
Yeah.
that's your job. All right. Yeah. I know it sucks, but that's the way it is. So come up here.
I've got fish that are like that are probably like 5 or 6 inches, where they're in there, you never see them, and they just stay below the racks.
Yeah,
they're like bristletooth
tangs.
Yeah, bristletooth, and the Scopus tang does it as well. Big Scopus tang, just never see it.
Well, just as well, they're boring. So
true. I've got a whole range of boring brown fish.
Yeah. Ada Miller's foxface spits at him. When he wants food.
My puffish used to do that.
And I've been suggested a better comet, marine better.
I think they're boring. They're interesting looking, but they don't do much.
They're too static for me.
Yeah.
Thank you, but that's not my cup of tea. I had a fish in a freshwater tank before. I can't remember what it was. It was about 3 inches long. It was kind of leopard pattern, and it was a predator. It was super aggressive. I didn't realize it was a predator. I bought 2, took them home, put them in the tank, and they instantly started picking off my cardinal fish. I was like, oh god, my cardinal tetras, and I didn't like them, and they just sort of swam a little bit, and then they'd sit there waiting, and then they'd pounce, and that's what marine betters look like to me. I've only ever seen them in shops, but it looks like they don't really move much because they're a predator type fish, and I don't really like that.
Yeah, you just reminded me of when there was one time when. See, even I, and I'm sure you were the same at one point, where you, as you just said with the freshwater thing, you bought a fish, you had no idea what it was, probably. And I did that, those little dwarf pufferfish. They are evil. Those little dwarf pufferfish will go take bites out of things.
I had them. Yeah. Freshwater predator fish. They were cool though. But I had some of them, but they didn't last long.
Yeah, they didn't last long because they kept taking bites out of all the other fish.
I just had a tank, and it was just them. There was like half a dozen of them, or a dozen or whatever in this one tank, but they didn't last. So unfortunately, I can't remember what that fish I had was, but it was horrible. Hated it. But yeah, so I don't like predator fish, and there are some like frogfish. You talked about frogfish before, haven't you?
Yeah, I've always wanted one, but I just think they're not worth the effort, I don't think. If someone else was looking after the tanks for me, I would have one. But I don't want to have to maintain another tank. No. And you'd have to have coral in it, because otherwise it's just a tank with a rock and a fish that doesn't do anything. But the Inappropriate Reefer had one, and that one was, to be fair, that probably has some personality because of how it looks. Because they look so unhappy.
Looks and personality are different, but I suppose so. If he looks grumpy, I guess so. I just don't like him. They're kind of cool to look at, but most of them are quite ugly. As in, like not just like the face, like the colorings are like off yellow and like.
I would like to have a full reef tank, like you know what, like what you would see on the internet, like a big with all corals and everything, and a little tiny one. So obviously it's not a problem until it gets bigger.
Yeah.
But getting food to it, that it's like when you see a reef tank and it's got eels in it, whether it's zebra eels or golden morays, or you go, I'm not, or a big puffer fish. You go, wow, that's a nice reef, but I did not know you could do that. And I think you could do that with a frogfish.
I get the impression that some eels actually won't eat your fish. Some of them are all right.
Yeah, zebra eels don't eat fish,
Yeah, okay.
and snowflakes are not meant to, but zebras are supposedly the safest,
Right,
because
okay.
they eat crustaceans. They don't have teeth; they have like grinding plates.
Oh, I see. Oh, nasty.
Jamie has
But,
a zebra eel in his tank, and
okay.
I've seen Jamie's tank loads of times. And
Never
the other
see
day
it.
I was like, "You have an eel," and you don't see it.
No, I bet they're nocturnal. Then they must come out and eat your cleanup crew at night.
Yeah, maybe. But I like the dwarf golden ones. That's another thing which I would
They're cool.
consider for the water box, because
Dwarf golden
they're
eagle.
one of the more expensive ones, but they're like pencil thin. Actually, a bit bigger than a pencil.
This one.
Yeah, because it's hard to tell from the pictures, but then they're like not very big. You know how some morays are like 12 feet long?
Yeah.
Well, these are not like that. And I just
No,
think
they're just like actually engineer gobies. I don't think they're actually gobies. Are they actually gobies? They look like eels.
they're not eels. I think they are gobies.
Are they actually? Let's have a look. Currently on convict or going. Domain genus. Oh god. A small eel-shaped fish, so it's eel-shaped,
Yeah.
is a marine fish. Despite its common name, it is neither a blenny nor a goby. It is, in fact, one of two species in the family.
Is it an eel?
Pholidicthidae. It doesn't. I don't think it's an eel. Pholidicthidae is a genus of ray-finned fish which consists of two species. So it's not an eel. It's not a goby. It's its own thing.
It doesn't really know what it is.
No, well, it does. Just no one else does. We don't.
Yeah.
But they if you like eel-shaped fish, they're probably the best bet, because I see people. They look funny, but
They're a terrible choice, because the reason they're called engineer gobies is because they dig up all your sand and move all your rocks around.
True, yeah. I think I've heard that before. I think Nathan Willard had a couple in a tank.
Yeah, it's
but
like
they won't eat your fish though.
No, but neither will those golden ones. I don't think, if the fish are big enough.
Right. Okay. Well, that is the. Sorry, hang on. Did you have a Prestige Reef Coral of the Week?
I don't know if I've done a Pectinia before, but we can do Pectinia if you want. But I haven't got anything to say about it. I just have a Pectinia, and that was the fish. That was the coral I thought of, because we did no prep for this live stream.
I'm going to do a specific type of Pectinia.
Oh, please don't do Space Invader, because they're all the same. Everyone does Space
Invader.
No, don't do. Just pick any other type. Everyone's seen this green and yellow coral. Show Pectinias it like the other range of colors for them.
How about this nice brown one with off green, or this brown one with a different color off brown? How about that brown one?
What about
this brown one here?
What about
that brown one?
I've got one like that, actually. I've got two. Yeah, that came in. One like that came in on the box from on Tuesday. See, that's nice.
Is it? It's not horrible.
Purple and
Actually,
green.
that doesn't look too bad, to be fair.
What about the third picture in?
This one? Oh, yeah, that's cool.
That's a cool one.
Not convinced that's a completely unaltered picture. No offense, Extreme Corals.
You should have typed in Ultra Rainbow Pectinia and then see what comes up.
Rainbow Pectinia.
No.
Disappointing. Oh, a Space Invader with that's had the saturation turned up.
Well, people rave about Pectinias, and I've got two, and I actually don't know why people rave about them. You've got one, haven't you?
I have a Space Invader, so I got it from Signature Frags. Let me see if he's got any. I don't think he has at the moment, but when they come up, he'll frag it occasionally and post them up. And I can't remember how much mine was. No, he hasn't got them at the moment. I think it was 175 quid. Might have been 225. It was that kind of money.
Yeah.
And I'd seen it on his website loads. And every time I was like, shall I buy it? No, I can't. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. And eventually, I thought, do you know what I'm going to do? It's so nice. I love it. I'm so glad I bought it. It's expensive, but it's a wicked coral. Really nice, proper bright, and you don't get many yellow and green corals. So, and it's weird pattern. So,
and it's way better than any of those brown ones.
Exactly. So, all right. Well, we'll do Pectinia, and that means that we are on to the news.
Oh, you got caught then.
Did you see my six pack?
I did see a six pack.
I was just opening a window.
Quite the view.
I know. Yeah. Sorry, ladies. Don't mean to get you hot under the collar. So reef news, right? So there's not much news this week. I'm going to indicate the level of news that we've got by starting with there is a sale on the AI Prime HD in America.
Does that suggest that there's going to be a new AI Prime?
Probably not, because it's just America. It's 22% off, and it's so it's down to from $265 to $207. And in the UK, I checked that sale does not exist in the UK, and that ends in America today. So if you haven't bought one and you want one, it's cheaper today.
I thought there's a sale on at Prestige Reef.
No, unfortunately not.
But there is.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, I'm doing 20% off again with the discount code discount20 in capital letters.
Discount20.
With all the fragging I'm doing, I need to clear as much as the farm because I can't frag. I've got these massive Alveopora colonies which I can't frag upon the website because there's no room.
Is that 20% off everything?
It's not off the mystery boxes because they're already heavily discounted. But other than that, yes, it's 20% off everything. So
add to basket.
You actually like that? That has coloured up so nice. You know, that is way better than that picture now. Like I promise you, way better.
I've got a fungia that's just orange that doesn't have the other colours, but it's cool, but it's not mega exciting.
Yeah.
But if it's got more of the purple, I could be persuaded.
Don't buy it because I want to take it to Aqua.
Yeah,
it's true because I want to show people it because it's cool.
I did. I was on your website the other day. I was looking at your place and Signature Frags. I didn't buy anything from either, but I was tempted by a couple of them. This red sign area, that looks really nice. Is that nice in the flesh?
It's so these the corals are the picture gets taken when they're a couple of days in. Once they've had time in like higher nutrients, they color up better. It's nicer than that. I'll be honest.
Interesting. I'll have a look when I come and visit you.
Yeah, look, you have to buy off the website. Just let me know. We'll sort something out, won't we? So actually, I owe you some money, don't I?
Free sign area.
You got some credit, haven't you? I can't remember why. I was from the.
I sold you. There was something from the tank. Yeah, it was the Jack O'Lantern letter. Yeah. News. Anyway, carrying on with the news. Yes. You like GHL?
Yeah.
There's a new doser, GHL doser 2.2.
I've got that one.
This one?
I'm pretty sure I've got 2.2. Unless I've got 2.1.
Oh, maybe. Do you know what? I saw this article and I had a GHL doser about 5 years ago, and I'm sure it looked like that. I don't remember having a black top.
The top contains color. You can have them in black or white, I think.
Yeah, but doesn't it normally match? Oh no, maybe it doesn't. I was going to match the size, but
you can choose.
But anyway,
you can literally, you buy them with the black or white cover.
I'm assuming that this is new because it's on Reef Builders, and they said, but maybe it's not. It doesn't say new actually, or does it? GHL has been manufacturing dosing pumps for 25 years. Yeah, the latest iteration, the 2.2, is packed full of useful features, standalone or connected to your GHL system. And actually, to be fair, so I didn't get on with GHL because I didn't like the software, but that dosing pump, the 4-head dosing pump I had, was possibly the best dosing pump I've ever had. Partly because it's super quiet. It's got 4 levels of speed levels. Yeah. Super fast, medium, and slow. And if you put it at slow, it's really quiet, whisper quiet. It just felt like a really good piece of kit. I just didn't like the software. But the hardware for that dosing pump was pucker.
Yeah, I'm just trying to log in to see which one I've got. It just says GHL Doser 2. So it could be 2.1 I've got.
I think it is new. From the looks of it, it's new. But anyway, there's a new one out. GHL tend to make good hardware, so if you want a new GHL dosing pump, you can go and inspect. And the last thing on the news, good news, Reef Dork Chattanooga. Not particularly relevant to you or I, granted, but this is there's a.
Oh, sorry, 1 second. Woo!
That's it. Reef Dork Chattanooga. I don't even know where Chattanooga is. Let's have a look. Where Midwest? I don't know. Where is it?
No idea.
I've got no idea. Chattanooga. Zoom out. It's near Tennessee, halfway between Nashville and Atlanta. Anyway, Reef Dork Chattanooga is taking place on the 24th to the 25th of August this year. And the latest announcement for speakers is the person you admire quite highly, Mike Levinson, May Loves Reef.
Oh, yeah. I like him.
Love him.
Yeah, I think I saw that he was being a speaker. Because I thought, would we ever want to do that? As in, not together, but like, I definitely wouldn't do it. And I wonder if you would do it.
Do you know what? So I don't think I would, because I'm not really a speaker. I'm not a public speaker. I'm sure I could do it, but that's not really what it's not my wheelhouse. But what I did think is, my first thought was, I wonder how much you get paid for that.
I wonder if you get paid.
In the UK, I suspect you wouldn't get paid. Yeah. In the US, I would guess it's different, but I don't know.
Might ask him. I'm like, tell me about your finances. I've not spoken to ages.
Exactly. Yeah. How much do you earn?
Yes. That'd be interesting. I mean, there would be some work involved with doing it. So why wouldn't they?
100%. Yeah, completely. But it doesn't necessarily appeal to me. But it's the sort of thing that if someone said to me, "Hey, we're doing a big trade show in America, we want you to come and do a talk."
Yeah.
At that point, when they say, "Do you want to do this?" that's when I would know if I want to do it or not. It doesn't, on the face of it doesn't appeal to me, but it would be quite exciting.
I'm anxious now, just thinking about it. Yeah. It was funny because JJ says the man on live camera. I'm live on camera in my living room. Yeah. And you know what I thought? I wouldn't mind doing this live, if you see what I mean, where we were sort of
with a live audience.
Yes, but would I? Nah, I don't know. I don't know if I would.
I've thought about that before.
Let's say if you did it at Aqua, for example, like if they said, "Look, we're going to set up so that you can do a live stream for half an hour or an hour," it wouldn't be the same. It wouldn't feel the same, I don't think, because although we're literally sitting face to face talking and there are people watching, it just would be weird.
And also, so as far as you and I are concerned, we probably assume that everybody watching is just sitting there intently watching us, which probably isn't really the case. Everyone's off doing water changes or whatever. But if in a room, you've just got people milling around talking and not paying attention to you. So I'd find that distracting, I think. But I've thought about it, but
I don't even, because I don't see how many people are actually listening live. I can only see the chat. And you usually get maybe 5 or 6 people on the chat at a time. So for me, it looks like it's me and you and 6 other people, and that's it.
Oh, really? You can only see literally half a dozen people at a time.
Yeah, as in I can see the chat. Like this says JJ, Trav, Trevor Hiller, A&K Carls. And there's a couple of others. That's it.
So this is basically, and this is going to be weird because there's 4 of us on screen, but that is roughly what I see. My software looks different, but that is roughly what I see. Is that how many comments you see?
Yeah, that is, but that's what I mean. You only see a very small section at a time.
Gotcha. Okay, fair enough. Anyway, so Maylev is at Reef Dork Chattanooga at the end of August, and was it Macna this year that got cancelled?
Yeah, that's been cancelled a few years now. I think that's been the last Macro. I think was in 2020. I think.
Oh, really? Pre-COVID?
No. Actually, no, 2019. Yeah. Because I think I've been to 2. There was one in Vegas. Was it Vegas? And then there was one in Florida, which got cancelled because of a hurricane. I think that was what happened. And then there's not been one after that. And that used to be like the show.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure. I'm not sure if there wasn't as much interest anymore because obviously there's 4 Reefer Paloozas and Aquashella to compete with.
Yeah. But isn't there another one, or is it? No, maybe it's just
there's loads of little ones as well.
Yeah, I thought there was another big one, but I think Reef Dork, obviously. But yeah, there you go. So But anyway, that's basically the end of the news. And I think we haven't even seen the low watermark for news in the reefing hobby this summer because we're getting into, because June is one thing, but when you get into July, the kids break up from school. So then suddenly it's going to go further down.
Not good.
So,
Not good.
Well, don't take your kids away. Watch the live stream instead.
Yeah.
There we go. And that's good news though, because it means that we get to finish at 9 o'clock like we normally do.
True.
So, was there anything else that you wanted to talk about?
Nope, that was it for me. You know me. I'm happy to end it whenever. So
just here for the ride.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
just very quickly, someone came to the coral farm today, and they went, "Oh, what's the live stream about today?" And I went, "I have no idea." And they went, "What do you mean you have no idea?" I went, "I never pick any of the topics. I just turn up."
Yep, that's about it. All right. Well, thanks for joining, Ryan. Thanks for sitting there while I do all the hard work. And thank you all for watching, guys. And we'll catch you next week.
See you later. Bye.
Cheers. Bye.